Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet FM 87.6. And today we are talking about um, tourism in Pakistan and how families, first of all, before the break, we talked about how you can plan your solo trips for bikers, especially, and then we'll talk about those people who want to take their families or those who are working remotely, like how they can plan or manage their trips. So, first for the families.
Although I don't have much experience with the families, but yeah, there are multiple places in the northern Pakistan that you can go with your families, and it's super safe. You don't need to worry about anything. And if your children are like around maybe I can say like 12 to 13 years old, you can also do some safe tracks like Rakaposhi Base Camp is one of the safest tracks that I've been to. It's one of the safest places in the northern Pakistan, and it's very beautiful. I've traveled so much in my life, and I can safely say that that is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been to, and it's the place that you can go with your family. Uh, and other than that, the main city areas like the areas of Skardu and the areas of Gilgit and Gizar, there are multiple guest houses, really amazing guest houses that you can stay uh, in Skardu. Like for example, uh, before the democracy, there was a kingship in those areas, and there was palaces of all the kings and the rulers of the northern Pakistan, and now those palaces are converted into guest houses. You can actually stay in those guest houses with your family. They
Amazing.
are a
That's
little
amazing. Yeah.
expensive to stay in, but yeah, if you can afford it, that's amazing experience, and you can enjoy the local cultural cuisine there. And there are gardens in those palaces that you can actually get fruit from, like cherries and apricots, etc. Yeah, so those are.
Those people are very generous and they allow tourists to actually get fruit from there. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and just take care of your children, and also just please teach them not to litter, not to destroy the beauty of those places, because very small carelessness can destroy the beauty of such wonderful places, and those places are very vulnerable. Uh, since we know that our main drinking source of water is coming from the glaciers, and by not caring about the environment, you are destroying the nature and destroying the environment and destroying our source of water, and especially for those local people, it's very difficult to clean those areas then. So just take care of the places, take care of your surroundings, and teach your children how to respect the nature and just have fun.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And what about people who are like working remotely and they want to plan their summer trips over there? I mean, what is the condition of internet and connectivity over there?
Yeah, there are some internet issues in the northern Pakistan since the terrain is very difficult. The mountain peaks are so large that it's very hard to provide stable internet connection there. But I've heard that things have been a lot better now, and there are multiple co-working spaces, especially in Gilgit and in Hunza, that you can uh, stay there and do your remote job. Those places have 24/7 internet connection, electric supply, and water and everything. So yeah, in these days you can go to those places, stay there, and they are not that expensive as well, and you can do your remote job from those places.
That's wonderful. Okay, so we talked about, I mean, solo travelers, we talked about families and those who want to do remote work. Also, I want to highlight or talk about our young girls and women who wants to travel in the form of groups or want to travel solo. That what are the conditions and security situation over there, and are there places safe to travel? Also, I want to address whether like the foreigners in Pakistan who want to travel solo over there. So, what do you want to say over there?
I mean, for girls, it's super safe. You don't need to worry about anything. The northern Pakistan, especially Hunza and Skardu, the main cities, they are very safe. In fact, you can even go on tracks. Even solo girls can go on tracks. Just take your camp and sleeping bag. Take care of your warm clothes and every goods that are necessary for the tracks. But other than that, you don't need to worry about any security conditions. People are very nice there, very generous there, very generous people, and they take care of they take care of you just like your own family. So you don't need to worry about anything, even if you are traveling as a solo girl. And also for the foreigners, yeah, those areas are super safe. And in fact, all in my own knowledge, all the foreigners that want to come to Pakistan majorly due to those northern areas. Since, for example, in Europe you can get green peaks and snow-covered mountains, but those rocky, rough, black stone mountains that you get in the Gilgit-Baltistan in the very north of Hunza, you can't get anywhere else in the world. So those are those special places that foreigners want to visit. In fact, I can tell you something else. Uh, do you know an 8,000er is a peak which is above 8,000 meters? So there are only 14 8,000er mountains in the world, and five of them are in Pakistan. So,
Wow.
and the rest of the nine are in Nepal, but the five are in Pakistan, and people from all over the world like to come to those to actually see those 8,000 peaks. So it's an amazing place for the foreigners to experience something new, to experience the peaks, the mightiness of those great mountains. And in fact, if you do the K2 base camp track, which is amazing, there's a place which is called Concordia, that is the confluence of Goodwin Austen Glacier and the Baltoro Glacier. So on that place, Concordia, if you stand there, the 4 of 14 8,000 peaks are in the radius of 20 kilometers just around you. You can see
Whoa, that's
K2,
amazing.
Broad Peak, Marshall Broom 1 and 4. So it's amazing. It's amazing. So I would recommend for all the foreigners, if they want to come to Pakistan, they should visit that place because it's amazing.
And what about, okay, so I mean, we just talked about those people, and also, would you like to share your experience that, I mean, for example, one is planning a K2 base camp.
Mhm.
How many days or time they should keep in mind that it will take, for example, a week or a month, I mean, and they should plan their trip accordingly.
For K2 base camp, it's a little technical, so I would always recommend that take the guidance of some local guide. In fact, it is not even allowed to go alone or solo for the K2 base camp track. You always need to get a licensed guide from Skardu or Gilgit in order to do the K2 base camp track, and you should keep around 10 to 15 days, more or less, even more than that if the weather gets harsh. Sometimes you need to stay a lot more. The instead of the initial days that you planned. And to go to the K2 base camp, the Concordia place that I talked about, I think you need to track for around 7 to 8 days. And then if you want to come back on the same track, you need to travel again the 7 days. But there is another path which is called GGLA, Gondogorola, which is a little technical, and it's not for the beginners at all. You need to train a bit in order to do that, but you can come down from the K2 base camp in around 2 to 3 days if you do GGLA, Gondogorola, but it's a little technical and you need to train for that first. So if you want to come back on the same path, so it's again 7 days, so total around 14 to 17, 18 days. Yeah, so you should keep that in mind.
So that's very important, that if you want to go to the main cities and do like a small treks, then it's okay. But if you want to do a big treks, for example, like
Yeah.
I mean, as Zain mentioned, so you need to keep in mind that you should have at least like 2 weeks in, spare in during that time. Okay, so we are having a very interesting conversation, and we'll take a short break, and then we'll be right back, and we'll conclude the discussion. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be right back after a short break.